2 21-story towers, a convention center, houses, and Top Golf. These are all options for the West Main Master Plan in downtown Pensacola. We'll be talking more about them, so stay with us. I'm Kevin Stevens, a native Pensacolian, husband, father, and U.S. Navy veteran. But that's not what this is about. I'm a local businessman who has owned many successful companies over the years. But it's not about this either. Recently, I ran for public office and was elected to a seat on the ECUA Board of Commissioners. So what's this about? It's about an elected official who will serve his community and hold his fellow elected officials accountable. All while making local government more transparent. Join me in making Pensacola a better place to live, work, and play. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kevin Stevens. The development of Community Maritime Park and Blue Wahoo Stadium helped make downtown Pensacola vibrant. They've helped attract new businesses and new residents to our urban core. There are now 3 different proposals being considered by the council, the Pensacola City Council that is, for how the land will be developed. One of the council members who will be voting on which plan to implement is Delarian Wiggins, representing District 7. Thank you for joining us, Delarian.
Thanks, Kevin. Glad to be here.
So if you would, just before we get started, Delarian, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm Delarian Wiggins, City Councilman of District 7, native of Pensacola, Florida. Attended Washington High School, graduated from there, went into the United States Army where I served my country for about 13 years. And so I decided to go into a career law enforcement. I've been at the Escambia County Sheriff's Office now for about 16 years. And so just last year, I decided to run for City Council and I got elected. And so now I'm City Councilman of District 7 and, I'm just excited. Still learning, learning. It's a lot to learn, but I find it enjoyable, and I love getting out and talking to the community, and just really learning, some of their problems, what I can do to help try to resolve some of it as much as possible.
Speaking about District 7, we talked about right before the show that your district is probably going to be the most transformative. Absolutely. It's probably going to be the beneficiary by far of most of this development that we were talking about with the Wahoo Stadium projects. So tell us a little bit about your district and what it encompasses, and there's just maybe some of the changes and probably some of the challenges that you guys are dealing with right now.
Well, District 7, as you said, is the most transformational district for the next couple of years. Now, my district, of course, you have the Wahoo Stadium, you have Bruce Beach, Sanders Beach, Tan Yard, you have the Baptist Hospital area, Addis Court, Morris Court, and it extends as far west as Navy Boulevard, right there behind the Mercedes-Benz dealership. So it's a pretty big district. So it's a lot of great development going on, and glad to sit here and talk with you about it and, seeing what we can do.
Sure. Well, and we were talking about some of the projects. Now, I know I'd spoken with you about the 3 proposals, and I know you guys, I think, have already narrowed that down to maybe a couple proposals. So if you could just tell the folks a little bit about that and what...
Well, right now, we had at the last special meeting, which was held about a week ago, so we decided to go with the Carson Group. So right now they're in 60-day negotiations with the mayor's office. So they're working out some logistics of it, and hopefully they'll be able to move forward. The biggest issue right now is the parking deck, the parking garage. Seeing how that funding, how is that going to get funded, and so that's one of the main issues that we're focusing on as the council, is to make sure that the parking garage is kind of taken care of before any
adequate. Because I think you could talk to any of your constituents and they would tell you the biggest pain in the butt is parking.
It's parking.
And that's putting it nicely.
Yes, parking. So we just want to make sure that the parking issue is taken care of before any other thing goes on down there.
Is there can you give us a little bit more detail about that proposal as far as what they're considering? And again, I'm not sure what you can or can't talk about, or how much detail now, you can give us. But
they're right now they're in the they did a conceptual design.
Okay.
Now those designs can change as the process moves forward. So they did give a conceptual design. Looking at some apartment complexes, about 80 units or so. Some will go towards affordable housing. To include, they're considering maybe a convention center as well. So that's just one of the things that are going on right there at the Maritime
Well, I want to hear a little bit more about that.
Yes.
So if you would stay tuned, we'll be right back after this short commercial break.
Extreme Pumping and Septic. Septic system services, lift station services, storm drain jetting, grease trap cleaning, and more. Extreme Pumping and Septic is your portable toilet rental headquarters for Baldwin, Escambia, Santa Rosa, and Okaloosa. Got an extreme emergency? Extreme Pumping and Septic has 24/7 emergency services 7 days a week. Extreme Pumping and Septic is the only septic company in our area with financing options. Call now or book online at extremepumpingandseptic.net.
Hi, I'm Sean McCorkle with Genesis Land and Title. What makes a great title company? Forbes magazine says that a good title company does two things well. They coordinate the transaction efficiently and they provide remarkable customer service. You know, there are few things worse than poor customer service when you are spending your hard-earned money. Our professional and friendly team will go above and beyond to ensure that your closing experience is as pleasant and stress-free as possible.
At Florida Insurance Agency, we have enough available resources to insure just about anything in Florida at the best rates. With dozens of companies to choose from, you don't just get a policy, you get the best policy for you. That means savings and comfort, knowing you are covered. We're only a local phone call away, and you can stop by any of our 3 offices anytime for assistance. Florida Insurance Agency. Our policy is great service.
YNG Global provides intense real-world combat training for individuals and teams. Our firearms training includes concealed carry, pistol, rifle, and advanced weapons and tactics. Our medical training involves evidence-based life-saving techniques, and our close protection services provide safe, controlled, monitored movement for personnel and executives. We're the only tactile pistol and carbine training facility in the Panhandle. Get the best at 850-380-1085.
Welcome back to On the Board with Kevin Stevens. So Delarian, before we cut to break, you were just going over a little detail about what Mayor Robinson had on his desk in reference to a couple of these proposals that he's basically qualifying and reviewing right now. So you go in a little bit more detail about that, and then tell us a little bit about Bruce Beach.
Sure. Well, as I was saying before, they're looking at about 80 units, which hopefully, from what I was looking at, is going to wrap around the garage itself, the apartments, and of course a few of those apartments will go towards affordable housing. And of course, again, the convention center. They're looking at the convention center, how they're going to design that, the capacity as far as, you know, maybe seating about 400 people. So they're looking.
So we're doing the conventions right now. I had a couple folks ask me, okay, so it's going to be 2 conventions. So we got the existing convention center, which I know there's multiple proposals on what to do with that. Renovate it, demo it, start from scratch, and this would be a secondary convention, maybe sports center.
That's what I'm probably thinking. However, it's still in the beginning phases of it, so it's kind of hard to tell which type of convention center is going to be. But I know they mentioned, of course, a convention center sitting at the Maritime Park. Yeah. And again, you know, as getting back to being transformative district, you know, right across the way there on the other side of Nick's Boathouse, we're redoing Bruce Beach, which I think
that's been great. That's already from where that was, say, a year ago or two. It's not even the same.
It's going to be a very, very nice beach where families can come. You know, and nothing against Pensacola Beach. Pensacola Beach is really, really nice. But I think just to have a local beach here in downtown Pensacola, where we can actually go to and enjoy the things that the elements that we're going to put in. We're going to put a splash park in there. It's going to be a history wall.
So just more family oriented.
More family oriented. We're going to have some picnic benches out there, kayaking, volleyball, just some of the things that, you know, at Pensacola Beach as far as sports and recreation. We'll have some of those things at Bruce Beach. So that is really that's going to really add to the beautiful beach that we have down here.
So we're not worried about if another barge hits that bridge. We're like, just stay here.
No. Just stay in Pensacola. You know, spending your money here in Pensacola, and so I think it's going to be great. And you know, again, District 7 is a thriving district. It's a growing district. A lot of great development going on in District 7, and I'm excited about it, and the community is excited about it. And I think it's just we're moving in the right direction.
Oh no, 100%. And as you're talking about those apartments and what how some of those are going to be designated for affordable. Like that's a big, point of contention in the county and the city is affordable housing and what that means. And when you hear the phrase affordable housing, and I'm in the construction business and development business and multiple businesses, that means different things to different people.
It does.
And to say affordable to one person is going to be completely different to another person. And
totally different.
With material cost and labor cost, I tell folks all the time, I mean, it is a struggle. It is a massive struggle from a builder standpoint to bring that affordable housing to the area when you're paying what you're paying for lumber and you're paying what you're paying for labor.
And Kevin, you kind of hit it right on the head there, and just jumping back to the parking deck, the parking garage, the cost of a parking garage back in, 1995, the cost is totally different from what we're paying, 2021. It has risen tremendously. And, just the construction cost, the material, that type of stuff has, oh my God, has just skyrocketed. So, the price to build a parking garage right now is going to cost, pretty close to somewhere along that $21 million.
Oh, 100%. And I'd like to go into a little bit more detail about the affordable housing when we come back. So stay tuned. We'll be right back after this short commercial break.
Extreme Fleet Maintenance is a complete hydraulic and diesel servicing company for the Gulf Coast region, specializing in Ford Power Stroke, Dodge Cummins, Chevy Duramax, and all diesel. We work on light and heavy-duty vehicles, forklifts, hydraulics, generators, warehouse, and farm equipment. Our emergency services are 24/7. When you need us, we are there. Call us at 850-972-8087.
At Florida Insurance Agency, we have enough available resources to insure just about anything in Florida at the best rates. With dozens of companies to choose from, you don't just get a policy, you get the best policy for you. That means savings and comfort, knowing you are covered. We're only a local phone call away, and you can stop by any of our 3 offices anytime for assistance. Florida Insurance Agency. Our policy is great service.
YNG Global provides intense real-world combat training for individuals and teams. Our firearms training includes concealed carry, pistol, rifle, and advanced weapons and tactics. Our medical training involves evidence-based life-saving techniques, and our close protection services provide safe, controlled, monitored movement for personnel and executives. We're the only tactile pistol and carbine training facility in the Panhandle. Get the best at 850-380-1085.
Hi, I'm Sean McCorkle with Genesis Land and Title. What makes a great title company? Forbes magazine says that a good title company does 2 things well. They coordinate the transaction efficiently and they provide remarkable customer service. There are few things worse than poor customer service when you are spending your hard-earned money. Our professional and friendly team will go above and beyond to ensure that your closing experience is as pleasant and stress-free as possible.
Okay, welcome back to On the Board with Kevin Stevens with Councilmember Delarian Wiggins. So before we broke for the break, we were discussing, the project, the Wahoo's project, the various proposals that are on the governor's, or I should say, the mayor's desk right now, and then as well as affordable housing. And so just kind of get a little bit more into that, and we were talking during the break as well, about affordable housing meaning different things to different people. That's been a big, I've worked with, goodness gracious, I've talked to Michelle Salzman about this. I've talked to County Commissioner Luma May. We've talked about this in great depth, several business partners of mine, how, in order to get what I would perceive as being affordable housing, meaning what most people make in Escambia County, to get them in a $200,000, $150,000 to $200,000 house, a home, apartment, whatever the case may be. How do you build that? And from a builder, developer, contractor perspective, when I had houses that I had lumber packages that were $35,000 8 months ago before I got my permits issued, depending on how hard of a time you have to deal with various HOAs. And then you get them today, you're talking about $35,000 to like $65,000, $70,000. That's the difference. Now you add the electrical cost because Romax has gone up. Romax has gone up because copper's gone up. PVC's gone up. PEX has gone up. Everybody's worried about $15 an hour. Delarian, you don't have to worry about $15 because, buddy, they're hiring you off the street at $15 an hour. I mean, I'm saying, they're paying people to put a pickle in a bun for $15 an hour right now. So the pay is not there. I'm sorry, the pay is there, I should say. The pay is there to pay these folks. I mean, my various companies are bringing people. I don't have an admin making less than $15 an hour. So that's not the question. The question is, without the public sector, joining forces and partnering with the private sector, that's in my mind, that's the only thing, that's the only way, that's the only avenue to get what most people would consider affordable housing. So I just want to kind of...
And you're right, because as you mentioned before, affordable housing, it just depends on who's giving the definition for me. Because when I think of affordable housing, I think about the single mother with the 4 kids. Can she afford to live in some of these housing, these developments that are going on? And that's my definition of it. And of course, if she can't afford it, then you got to ask, is it true affordable housing? I like to use the term workforce housing because I think workforce housing gives you a more of a sense of you're working and you're able to at least afford something. So I look at it from that standpoint. But yeah, it just depends on who's giving that definition of affordable housing. But it is very important. I think that we're looking at trying to buy as much property as we can to try to help remedy some of the affordable housing crisis. Because I know the prior councilwoman, she was talking about 500 homes in 5 years for affordable housing. Since she made that statement, we have gotten at least close to that, but not where we want to be. But we do have some affordable housing that we're actually looking at trying to purchase to put people in homes. And I think it's going to be a great project. And of course, it is grants that's available out there to assist with some of the affordable housing initiatives.
No, and fantastic, because it's going to take, like I said, it takes a village, as they say. And I definitely believe it takes the public and the private sector working together hand in hand, towards that common goal to get it accomplished. Because the last thing anybody wants is to move folks that our local folks here, and move them out, from where, like you said, you're local, born and raised here. These folks were born and raised here as well. So we got to figure out a way to kind of, bring the best of both worlds, if it were. So again, stand by. We're going to be right back after a short commercial break and finish our discussion.
Extreme Fleet Maintenance is a complete hydraulic and diesel servicing company for the Gulf Coast region, specializing in Ford Power Stroke, Dodge Cummins, Chevy Duramax, and all diesel. We work on light and heavy-duty vehicles, forklifts, hydraulics, generators, warehouse, and farm equipment. Our emergency services are 24/7. When you need us, we are there. Call us at 850-972-8087.
At Florida Insurance Agency, we have enough available resources to insure just about anything in Florida at the best rates. With dozens of companies to choose from, you don't just get a policy, you get the best policy for you. That means savings and comfort, knowing you are covered. We're only a local phone call away, and you can stop by any of our 3 offices anytime for assistance. Florida Insurance Agency. Our policy is great service.
YNG Global provides intense real-world combat training for individuals and teams. Our firearms training includes concealed carry, pistol, rifle, and advanced weapons and tactics. Our medical training involves evidence-based life-saving techniques, and our close protection services provide safe, controlled, monitored movement for personnel and executives. We're the only tactile pistol and carbine training facility in the Panhandle. Get the best at 850-380-1085.
Extreme Pumping and Septic. Septic system services, lift station services, storm drain jetting, grease trap cleaning, and more. Extreme Pumping and Septic is your portable toilet rental headquarters for Baldwin, Escambia, Santa Rosa, and Okaloosa. Got an extreme emergency? Extreme Pumping and Septic has 24/7 emergency services 7 days a week. Extreme Pumping and Septic is the only septic company in our area with financing options. Call now or book online at extremepumpingandseptic.net.
So welcome back to On the Board with Kevin Stevens. So Before our next, I guess, burning question that a lot of folks in the city, but we're in the county for that matter, have asked is, what are we going to do, or what is the city going to do about the homeless situation, specifically, I-10.
I-10.
I know I can tell you, selfishly speaking, I fought tooth and nail with ECUA to get the Blue Angels on there, and welcome to Pensacola, and making that a focal point for downtown Pensacola, as opposed to just 3 ECUA logos. And but I'll tell you, when you drive over ECUA, I mean the camp, or drive, I should say, drive over the I-10 overpass. I mean the encampment is growing, and it grows by the day. And then I know that the council, again, no good deed goes unpunished. We had there were some porta potties put out there, and of course you have bathroom facilities, so it grew even more. And then there's tents, and so anyway, I know it's
you got the tents, you got the people sleeping in their cars because they say it's a safe environment. You have so many, and as you said before, it has grown. I know they're being provided some medical attention there, of course, food, showers, things of that nature. So. Right now, the city is, I think that we extended it for them to stay there.
I think you guys have extended it twice.
Yes, we extended it twice. The biggest thing now is, of course, CDC guidelines say that, if, as far as COVID, they don't want the COVID to spread within, the city limits, so to speak. So they normally just want them to stay in that one area. And I'm not saying nobody there has COVID. I'm just saying the CDC guidelines say they potentially can't spread that.
I just kind of wonder, you brought up a great point, Delarian, about about the uptick in COVID and positive cases. That would almost seem to be a damn cesspool, under I-10. And I don't think anybody is thinking that everybody's staying right there in the I-10. I mean, obviously they're going out there, and of course, intermingling with the population. I mean. And again, I want to be real clear. My heart goes out to them. I mean, there's multiple causes for homelessness. It's not just because someone's lazy and doesn't want to work. There's mental health issues. There's alcohol issues. There's of course, obviously we're in a major, obviously unprecedented, situation with COVID and a pandemic. So there's just a lot of reasons. So you want to help people, 100%. But at the same time, where is that happy median for the residents around there that, quite frankly, it's causing an unsafe condition. There's been multiple comments and issues with interacting in an adversarial, confrontational relationship with some of the homeless folks, with some of the residents around there. So what's the end game?
Well, Dr. Malbert came down and did an assessment of the homeless issue that we're having in Pensacola. Since then, they came up with a homeless task force, opened the doors, have partnered with Ms. Connie Bookman. So they have a homeless task force that they're looking at, trying to resolve and remedy some of the issues that we're having down at the camp. Then you have Mr. Caleb Houston, who's over a facility off of Davis Highway, who's preparing the building to at least house at least 200 of those people.
Okay.
So we're doing certain things, but it comes down to also the ARPA funding, the stimulus package that the president approved. So the city got about $18 million, which we already have half of that already. So now it's just a matter of sitting down and having them put that plan together, and then providing them the funding to make sure that they're housing some of these individuals.
Yeah, and again, just find those locations. Like you just educated me today about the potential for possibly housing for 200 people.
Yeah, so they have a few things that they have to get taken care of in that building, but as soon as they get that done, and of course, they're able to house 200 people. Open the doors. They're doing the best that they can. We even had Mr. Johnson brought in a company out of Texas to we took a look at some pallet homes.
Right.
1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, the dormitory homes that can house 2 people at a time.
Yeah, just kind of like, and I can relate to that. You're in the military too. I want to talk a little bit more about the multifamily homes when we come back.
Sure.
Stay tuned. After the short commercial break, we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Sean McCorker with Genesis Land and Title. What makes a great title company? Forbes magazine says that a good title company does two things well. They coordinate the transaction efficiently and they provide remarkable customer service. You know, there are few things worse than poor customer service when you are spending your hard-earned money. Our professional and friendly team will go above and beyond to ensure that your closing experience is as pleasant and stress-free as possible.
Extreme Pumping and Septic. Septic system services, lift station services, storm drain jetting, grease trap cleaning, and more. Extreme Pumping and Septic is your portable toilet rental headquarters for Baldwin, Escambia, Santa Rosa, and Okaloosa. Got an extreme emergency? Extreme Pumping and Septic has 24/7 emergency services 7 days a week. Extreme Pumping and Septic is the only septic company in our area with financing options. Call now or book online at extremepumpingandseptic.net.
Extreme Fleet Maintenance is a complete hydraulic and diesel servicing company for the Gulf Coast region, specializing in Ford Power Stroke, Dodge Cummins, Chevy Duramax, and all diesel. We work on light and heavy-duty vehicles, forklifts, hydraulics, generators, warehouse, and farm equipment. Our emergency services are 24/7. When you need us, we are there. Call us at 850-972-8087.
So welcome back to On the Board with Kevin Stevens. So before we left off, Delarian, I know we're like beating this homeless question in the ground, dragging it behind the truck.
Yeah.
But again, we were talking about, the private and public sector, joining forces, and it may not be pleasant, but we got to do something. It's not going away, like you said. It's not going away. I know the folks at downtown are focusing on I-10,
Right.
but like we said during the break, it's far more than I-10.
Oh yeah, it's widespread. Oh, absolutely. You got I-10. You have, even when you go past Brent Lane, you still have, the north end of the county. You have the far west of the county as well that's still experiencing the homeless population. People standing out on the side of the road. So for me, I think it's going to take a collaborative effort from the private sector as well as, the business side of it, so that we can all come together and try to resolve some of these issues as possible. Because if not, this is a growing. I don't want to call it an issue, but homelessness is growing. And it's
nationwide.
It's nationwide, absolutely.
And that's what I was saying. If we don't come, you've got several proposals out there. I know local businessman Jim Reeves had proposed trying to get some city ordinances changed, but that'll be for another show. To where we could put some tiny houses in here. I know a lot of folks, may or may not want tiny houses. Regardless, we've got to come together on something, because if we don't, before we know it, everybody thinks that could never happen here. That could never happen in Pensacola. We could easily be another Portland. We could easily be another San Francisco or Sacramento. I mean, literally, going out there, grabbing your Sunday paper and a cup of coffee, and we've got, you've got 2 tents on your front yard. Yeah. And that's happening right now. Right now, as we speak, in cities like San Francisco, Sacramento, and Portland. And I'm not foolish or naive enough, nor are you, to think that could never happen here.
Yeah.
And I'd like to get ahead of it.
We need to get ahead of it. We have to be able to change our way of thinking and the way we handle business. We can't handle business the same way we handle business, back in the early 2000s and the 90s. We have to now come up with a plan that, again, we all work together to try to resolve some of these issues. And that's the only way that we're going to be able to get it done. We got to start working together. Homelessness is big, it's huge, it's widespread, and it's, as we said before, it's everywhere. When you're looking at tiny homes, I think that it's a great thing. I think that we need it. We need tiny homes, and I think that's just a step in the right direction.
Right, and at the end of the day, like you said, it's the public sector working with the private sector.
Absolutely.
Well, Delarian, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining on my show.
Absolutely.
It was a pleasure. Thank you for your support. Thank you for joining me on the Board with Kevin Stevens. God bless, and have a great day.
Don't wait. Communicate. Make your emergency plan today.